You know, Casey, one of the beauties of the shop is that bond that's kind of created here. You know, you don't have to be shamed to tell your story here. And every time you're in my chair is an opportunity to tell your story.
That's such a critical piece to it, right? Is sharing those stories, having those conversations, knowing your family health history. We hear that a lot because then you know what you're more susceptible to.
Well, keep in mind, you know, family history is certainly important, but you have to acknowledge and know your body. Like my guy Craig was acknowledging to me. He doesn't have a family history of his cancer. So knowing your body can definitely be a huge part of it.
Craig Koinga, I'm 49 years old, and I am a colorectal cancer survivor. I was 46 when I was diagnosed. You know, I've always been a relatively, you know, healthy guy. I'm a runner. I've ran 8 marathons and like 12 half marathons. I did a lot of triathlons in my 30s and in my early 40s. I was training for a half marathon in Chicago, but during my, you know, especially I remember like during my training, I just had some unusual things going on with my body, and mainly as it pertained to bowel movements. You know, I can remember being at a Merrill Trail, running on that trail, and, you know, having an emergency. It just figured it was something I ate or whatever, you know, or getting older or whatever. And then it happened a couple other times. I remember that I actually had like blood clots in my stool, and which was scary to me. You know, so shortly thereafter, I went to my primary, and he got some like general blood work done. Everything came back like, hey, you're healthy. And I mean, I had just run a half marathon. I'm like, how sick could I be?
Right. I mean, it sounds like you're a healthy person. You work out, you take care of yourself.
Yep, eat healthy, you know, and that was encouraging news to me, you know. But the symptoms continued for me. One thing I remember my primary physician telling me, when it comes to cancer, the thing with cancer is the symptoms don't go away. I called my physician back, and they agreed to send me to get a colonoscopy. December 23. I was actually the last colonoscopy of the year. I can remember waking up from the colonoscopy and looking around, and my wife was sitting there, and I could tell she was a little bit teary-eyed. My physician told me he didn't have to get very far inside me to realize that there was a sizable tumor in my rectum. So it was like a 7 centimeters long, and it can't stay there or it's going to kill you. Stage 3 rectal cancer. There's a decent survival rate, but there's a lot of people that, you know, that lose their life, you know, and I know a number of people that I've come in contact with, you know, in the past few years since my diagnosis that had literally the same diagnosis as I had, and they didn't make it. Treatment for rectal cancer, they have found that like chemotherapy followed by radiation and then with surgery following has been the best course of action. I think it was October 10 of 2020, I had my surgery where they removed my rectum. And in January of 2021, they put me back together, you know, and they reattached my large intestine.
So how grateful are you, boss, you know, considering the fact that you listened to your body and gotten through this process?
Oh, yeah, you know, I'm glad I didn't. If I would have just let it go, you know, I might not be sitting here right now, to be completely honest with you. The faith that I had in my diet and in my physical fitness, yeah, I had way too much faith in that, because, you know, no matter how healthy you are, no matter what lifestyle you lead, how great your diet is, you know, this is something obviously that can happen to anybody. I am cancer-free. Yeah, very thankful to say that I'm cancer-free. Us guys, we want to be masculine. You know, we don't want to admit that there's something wrong, and, you know, we're kind of scared of the unknown. And I would just encourage guys, you know, to listen to their body. If you think that there's something up, that there's something wrong, if this isn't normal, Don't wait to get it checked out. You go in, see your doctor, be a man, get it taken care of.
Yeah, that's such an interesting phrase, be a man, right? Because it means something different to just about everybody. But when it comes to colorectal cancer, men are slightly more likely than women to be diagnosed with it, but maybe we're less likely to go get that colonoscopy. Overall, though, in the United States, it's the second leading cancer-causing death.
Yeah, and I hear more and more younger people are being diagnosed too, right?
Yeah, that's why it's important, like Craig said, advocate for yourself, listen to your body, and make sure you go and get that colonoscopy scheduled if something's going on. Up next, the signs and symptoms of prostate cancer. What to look for from a man who lived that battle.